Are you renovating or building a rental suite? Well, if you are, you're gonna wanna take advantage of these 7 renovation hacks that we just included in our new 8-unit conversion building. Hey, what's up? Darren Voros here. My mission is to help 1,000 people create over $1 million of net worth with real estate investing. Subscribe not to miss what's coming. Today, I'm here at our Dovercourt project, which has been under construction for almost 9 months. And we're getting to the point where we're almost ready to put in insulation and drywall. So I wanted to walk you around and show you 7 renovation hacks that you can use in your next reno project if you're building or renovating for a rental apartment. So the number 7 renovation hack, and these are in no particular order, is these one-piece tub shower combination units. These one-piece units have no joints and no cracks. So they're watertight, they're acrylic white, and they're easy to clean, and they should last a long time, and they really never go out of style. So I love this one-piece unit. It's also much less expensive to install one of these units. They'll run about $1,000. But if you were to buy the tub separately, and then you wanted to do a tile surround, you'd have to have a drywaller, a tiler, and that's gonna cost you a lot more than installing one of these units that's entirely waterproof right from the start. The number 6 item on my list is having a utility room that is accessible from a common area. So where I'm standing right now is the common hallway, and as you walk in here, you'll see the utility room behind me. When we have problems with the boiler, it needs servicing, it needs maintenance, we don't have to bother the tenants to come in and do maintenance on that unit. You'll also see that there's going to be 8 separate hot and cold water lines coming up here with isolation valves on them. That allows us, if we need to be able to shut off water to a single unit if we need to do any kind of maintenance. And again, that's all accessible through our common utility space up here on the 3rd floor. The number 5 item on my list is putting a separate electrical panel and a separate electrical meter in every single unit. If our utilities are separated out, we as landlords don't have to pay for that. Our tenants set up their own utility bills and they pay them directly. So as you can see here, we've got the wires hanging down and the electricians will put in a separate panel in each unit. It's also in a very common area, so we can probably hide that electrical panel with a picture and it disappears behind the wall. This feature is also great so that if your tenants trip one of their breakers, they can just reset it in their unit, and that way you don't have to bother any of the other tenants if a breaker trips. The number 4 item on my list is keeping your fire separations intact when you're doing interior framing. As you can see here, the framers have put 2 layers of Type X drywall above the top plate of the interior walls. That allows us to come in later on and put in our insulation and then our resilient channel and 2 layers of 5/8 drywall to keep our fire separation continuous all the way throughout the floor. Now, the building code may be a little different in your area than it is here. Regardless, it's really nice to have that fire separation entirely intact. That way, you've got great sound insulation and you've also got that fire protection from unit to unit if you have units stacked one on top of the other. I'm down in the basement now for hack number 3. If you can, put in a separate dedicated entrance for your basement apartments. One of the main challenges when you're putting in a basement apartment is often that you need to have an egress window in that suite. But check your local building code, because in most cases, if you have a dedicated entrance and exit, you don't need a secondary means of exit from that unit. So you can see here that we've got 2 basement apartments separated by that dividing wall right there. This is our dedicated entrance for the one unit, and there's a dedicated entrance on the other side for the other unit. Now, obviously, these are just temporary stairs that allow us to get the building material in and out and allows our guys to come in and get the framing and everything done in the basement. After that's complete, we'll remove these and we'll pour permanent concrete steps for the basement entrances. Now, you might be wondering what this giant plumbing pipe is in the middle of the bedroom in the basement apartment. This pipe won't stay here sticking out of the ground like this. Otherwise, it would be pretty hard to rent this apartment. It'll get cut off at floor level and capped. And what this is this is a sewer backflow preventer. And the reason this is so important is because this will protect the basement apartment if there was ever a sewer backup. There's really no use in spending all this money putting in a brand new basement apartment where there could potentially be a sewer backup and everything could get damaged. So if you're roughing in new plumbing, regardless of whether it's part of the building code or not, put in a sewer backflow preventer. Trust me, you'll be so glad you did, and you can send me a thank you note later on. And the number 1 renovation hack on my list is using radiant in-floor heat as your main heat source. Using radiant in-floor heating allows each unit to be separated and the tenants can control their own heating inside of their unit. We do this by creating separate individual radiant heating floor loops in each unit. That way we can have one single boiler servicing all of the units, but each individual unit can be controlled separately. You might be thinking, well, what about cooling? How do we cool each unit? Well, in this property, we're going to be using ductless splits for cooling and a little bit of additional heating. There's one condenser unit outside which can control 4 separate heads. So we're putting 2 condensers outside which will control the 8 separate heads in 8 separate units in this building. Now, the downside to these units is that we can't separate out the utilities so the tenants don't pay their own utilities. But radiant in-floor heating and the ductless splits are incredibly efficient, so it shouldn't cost us a lot to run this building as the landlords. Plus, with only one combination boiler that will do all of the central heating and the domestic hot water, we only really have one system to maintain. If you're interested in learning more about how we do projects like this, we have a course coming up where we're teaching this exact thing: how to take an old big single family dwelling and convert it to a boutique apartment building with 8 units in it. I'll leave a link in the description below for more information on this upcoming course. If you have specific questions about this project or anything else related to real estate investing, please feel free to drop those in the comments section below. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram, where I post regular updates on this project and all of the other projects that we have going on. And now let me walk you around and show you what's going on at this project.